Hey, yeah, hey.
Hey YouTube. Well, as you can see, I'm sitting in my bedroom. I'm not on home time. I'm under a load, and I had a couple of days that I could sit here at the house with my mom and dad and before I have to deliver. But that's really not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about my week of last week. Is that right? Week of last week? Anyway, I want to talk about last week. We were on home time, and on Monday of last week, I got back on my truck. And my first load got within 30 minutes. It was picking up 40 miles from my house. And it was going to be a nice run and an interesting run at that. I was picking up, and I would be going to North Carolina, delivering on Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, I was going to be picking up the same place I was delivering, and I was going to take that right back to where I picked up the load. It was going to be a little over 2,100 miles. It was supposed to be delivered on Monday, so it was going to be a week and 2,100 miles, 2 tarp load basically, because it was going to be 2, and I had to tarp them both times. I believe I could get there back on Friday and get it unloaded. It all depended on how things went on Wednesday. I didn't know if it was a preloaded trailer that I'd be picking up or if they were going to reload me. But it didn't really matter to me, to tell you the truth, because I knew that if I could get back on Friday, I could park the truck for the weekend, come back to the house and hang out at the house and deliver it Monday morning. So I was okay with that load. The appointment time was noon, but I got there about 10:30. I figured that they would maybe load me early. I had been there one time before, so I wasn't totally sure of everything, but I felt like they'd probably load me. So I got there. Went into the shipping office, and the lady said, "Oh man, I'm sorry. We just canceled that load. Evidently the material had discolored or whatever, so it wasn't going to be available." So I called my DM, and they were just getting the information as I was telling them, "Hey, been canceled." I ended up sitting there for about 3.5 hours, and they got me a load picking up in Muskogee, Oklahoma, which is about 240 miles from where I was at. It wasn't picking up until Tuesday at 8 in the morning. So I took off and got to a Pilot about 20 miles from where I had to pick up on Tuesday morning. Parked there, went to bed, got up in the morning, rolled on over there, and by the time I got there, there was already another Melton driver. It turns out there were 2 of us going to be going. We were going to Kentucky. We were picking up poles and stuff that make cell towers, and we were going to be taking it to a field, basically. So there was no overnight parking there. And it had to be delivered on Monday. It was only like 430 miles. Not a big deal. Got loaded, rolled out of there, stopped, and took a shower and rolled all the way. I got within 20 miles of that place and parked, found a truck stop, parked there. Got up in the morning, rolled over there, and it was down some little tiny little roads, which I knew it was going to be in a field. I'm kind of used to those little roads. Got out there and parked, and they had built a gravel road, and it was a dead end, and there was no turning around or anything like that. And the guy said, "Do you think you can back down that?" I probably could have backed down it, but I could not gotten off the street because it was just a 2-lane road. And there was no shoulder either, so I couldn't have bent that trailer and the truck, 75 foot of trailer and truck, and gotten it down there. I did think maybe I could pull into the guy's driveway that was right across from it, but it had a culvert on either side, and there was a little bit of a drop, and I felt like the trailer would probably drop in there and damage that guy's property, and I didn't want to damage that guy's property. So I told the guy, I said, "No, there's no way I can get in here." So we agreed that I'd just pull up and he would take everything off with the forklift and then drive it to where he needed to. So it took them about 45 minutes or so before they unloaded me. Not really a big deal. Got unloaded, and within 20 minutes got my second load. My second load was picking up in Clarksville, Tennessee, and it was going to, where the heck was it going? Oh, Houston, Texas. My appointment was 1 o'clock. I got there at 11:40, and they were loading their daily trucks. And the guy said, "Yeah, if you let us finish these up, we'll get you right in." Man, they had me in there around 12:30. It was shingles, no tarp, threw my straps on it, made an X strap on the front, and I rolled out of there. I was supposed to deliver on Friday in Houston. Well, I got lucky enough because I got out of there so soon and rolled all day Thursday that I actually got down to the consignee on Thursday at 2 in the afternoon. And I didn't think I'd get a load on Thursday. I just wanted to be first for Friday for the weekend. So I got there, pulled in there, and these companies, we deal with these companies. I've never been to that specific place, but I have dealt with their companies around the United States. So they usually are first come, first serve, unload till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, no big deal. I rolled in there and the forklift guy goes, hey, we've changed our policy and our times for receiving. We no longer do it all day. You have to come back at 4 o'clock. We do it from 4 to 11 at night. And I need you to leave because we don't have enough room in here. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So you had to drive, when you drove in one way, made a horseshoe turn all the way back, and you drive out another gate. So as I was coming around the horseshoe, there's another guy standing there, and he stopped me. He goes, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm supposed to leave. He goes, we need your shingles. Park right there. We'll get you unloaded. I was like, you're kidding me. He's like, no, we're going to unload you. Go check in and we'll get you unloaded. All right. So I go in and check in and come back, and I'm taking off my straps. And that forklift guy asked me what I was doing, and I told him, and he's like, who told you that? And I was looking around for that guy, and about that time he came around the corner, and I pointed, I go, him. And he went, shit. I go, I take it he's your boss. He goes, yeah. And so he drives off. And so he was pretty cool, actually. He was cool. It was just that he was doing procedures and the boss was changing the procedures. But it benefited me. So I got my straps off and everything. And I probably waited around about an hour before they finally got to me. And while I was waiting, I got my third load for the weekend. And that was picking up in Louisiana, about 130 miles from where I was at. So I got unloaded. I didn't have enough hours to get all the way to the shipper, but I knew a truck stop that was kind of out of the way. I kind of went about 20 miles out of route because I always know they have parking and they have showers, and so that's what I did. And it was pretty much on the way, just a little bit around. And parked, got a shower, went to bed. My appointment wasn't until 11 o'clock, and that load was going to, I think it was Arkansas or something like that. But that load was going to give me 2,400 miles for the week, more miles than I would have gotten with that very first one on Monday. So I was fine with everything. So I got up and I got there about 10:30 and checked in. The lady said, "Yep, pull in. You'll be the third truck we load." Pulled in behind the second truck. I was sitting there for about 5 minutes, and the lady comes out of the office. She comes over to me and she says, hey, the pickup numbers you gave me are good numbers, but that load is not ready and it's not scheduled to be picked up until Monday. She goes, I have no loads for you. I was like, okay, pull out a line and call my DM, tell her the situation. All right. Probably within less than 30 minutes, they had me another load going farther into, I think I drove another 130 miles into Louisiana, near Morgan City. I cannot remember the name of the town, to pick up and go to Lebanon, Tennessee. That right there ended up giving me 2,563 miles for the week. So, and that was picking up at like 1:30 in the afternoon on Friday. So I rolled over there. I actually got there about 30 minutes before, and there were two Melton drivers in there. They were going to Michigan, but one was being loaded, one hadn't started being loaded, and then myself. So we're sitting in there, and the forklift driver told me, he goes, I don't know when I'm going to get to you. It's like, all right, no problem. So it was hot, and I just sat in my truck with it running, and the long and short of it is that they did not have me completely loaded until 8 o'clock that night, Friday night. It didn't really bother me that much, really, tell you the truth, because I was going to get paid detention for it. I was lucky enough that I could throw straps. I didn't have to push a pole through the load because it was beams and stuff. So every time I told them, I said, I want to do one. Hold on a second. So I wasn't bothered. Lily, come here. I can see you in the camera. Stay down here. Gotta stay right here. So I wasn't bothered with the time. No. Come on, Lily. Go lay down. I wasn't really bothered with the time. I got paid detention pay for it, and really it was pretty easy load. And he allowed me to throw straps every time he set layers, and every two layers I threw straps over it, and it made it pretty easy. By the time he got done, I pulled around a corner and I pretty much had my straps tightened, and I pulled outside the gate with the two other drivers, and we parked there to spend the night because those guys didn't get done. They were probably a half hour before I was. Their loads were crazy. And just parked outside and went to sleep. Woke up about 2:30 in the morning. I had my time back, and I rolled to the Birmingham terminal. And then I got up in the morning pretty late because I only had a couple hundred more miles to get to Lebanon. Drove up there, got there around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and parked, pulled out the bike, and I decided I had plenty of time. I wanted to get a workout in, but where his house was 12 miles from the truck stop. So I was like, well, we'll get a good workout in. Pulled out the bike, rode up there. As I was riding, I see a tractor go by me, and I usually do see the tractors on these skinny, narrow roads out there, and waved at the guy, kept on going, and found the house, and it had an electric gate right there. And I was like, ah, man. So I decided, you know what, I talked to him on Friday. It's Sunday. Maybe he'll be okay with me calling him on a Sunday. And so I called him, and he answered, and I started talking to him and everything. And I was telling him, I said, yeah, I parked my truck. I rode my bike over here. And he's like, you rode your bike over there? I said, yeah. He goes, I think I saw you. And I go, you did? He goes, I'm on my tractor going to my other property to mow it. And I go, oh, I saw you. I waved at you. He goes, yeah. I go, yeah, that's me. He goes, I can open that gate from my phone if you want. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. So he did. He opened the gate. I rode my bike in there to the spot where they wanted to unload me. And I called him back, and I said, you know, everything looks pretty easy. I said the turn at the gate's going to be probably the hardest, but everything else should be good. And as long as I pay attention, we should be able to get in there. And he goes, okay, no problem. I said, okay, I'll see you Sunday morning, or I'll see you Monday morning. And I got up and rolled over there. I got there about a little before 8. And that turn, what I didn't realize about that turn, and you can't really see that well, is that he had a box, you know, a push button box for people to talk, who's ever at the gate, and to decide if you want to let them in, type of thing, right? Well, where that was at, it kind of cut off some of my room for my truck to turn, so that the trailer wouldn't hang off the edge, because it was close. And I just kind of slowly creeped it around there, and I was looking in the passenger mirror at the tires, and then they probably were within 4 or 5 inches of going off the little side and hitting the culvert, but we didn't go over. Rolled up in there and everything, and he told me where to park, and I parked, and the guys unloaded me, and I rolled on out of there. But at the end of the week, I ended up with 2,563 miles for the week. So not a bad week. 3 loads. It was a pretty easy week. All the loads were relatively easy, really. I mean, the poles on Monday were easy. The shingles on Wednesday were easy, and then the beams on Friday were easy. So there wasn't really a whole lot of trouble with them. They were all relatively light, except for the shingles. They're always heavy. But I got lucky on a few things as well. But I really can't complain about the week. And like the title says, I'd rather do this than bump a dock every day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or concerns, hey, please drop me a line. I'll answer your comments. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.